Hello, I am Ron Baker, and welcome to Empowered at Last, a podcast about creating lives of meaning, value, and purpose. I look forward to deepening this conversation, even talking about what does create meaning, what does create value, and what does give me a sense of purpose. Well, today I'm going to give a clue about all of that. Today we're going to talk about a subject that is often avoided. It is the subject of challenges and how they serve our lives. So, what I promised from episode 000 of this podcast is that this would be an intimate conversation about life, where we talk about anything and everything in a way that is safe. I want you to be able to come here and to stretch yourself, to be nurtured, to be informed, and to even be heard. I've encouraged you to reach out to let me know what you want to talk about. Let me know what you'd like me to cover. Let me know the kinds of interviews that you're interested in hearing more of. Today we're going to deepen that conversation. Let's just start with a simple inventory. When you go to lunch with your friends, what do you talk about? Do you only talk about, did you see the game on television last week? Or did you hear about this particular event that took place in the neighborhood? Or do you share about yourself? In order to feel safe to share about ourselves, we need to be in touch with ourselves. We need to find out and become aware what matters to us, what our priorities are, how we feel, what excites us, and what challenges us. I am a little baffled when I take an inventory with other people and I say, do you have even one dear friend that you feel comfortable sharing all of yourself with? So many people do not have that in their lives. And so I want to encourage that not only does it enhance the connection that I believe every single one of us yearns for and seeks if we don't already have it, but sharing about yourself one layer at a time will be a part of what we cover and explore here at this podcast. So today we're going to talk about just becoming aware that challenges in your life actually serve you. So before you go to share about them with your friends or with that one person whom you are deepening trust as a starting place, becoming aware of what your challenges are and how they serve you yourself is a great starting place. As a matter of fact, I think it's a pretty vital starting place. So what do I mean, challenges actually serve you? Let's go all the way back to very primitive challenges that we face. When you were an infant growing into your first year, you eventually had to face the challenge of learning to walk, to take your first steps, to learn the process of falling down and getting back up, to learn to feel safe with the process of trial and error, so that what you wanted in your life, which was to walk and to get to something, was able to be accomplished. Now that may seem extremely primitive for us here. I don't believe it is. I think that same exact process is what we face in everything that we go to create in our lives. We must be willing to move toward it. We must be willing to take a first step. We must be willing to go through the trial and error. Everybody has a learning curve. Do you know anyone in your life who just popped out of the womb capable of doing everything? It's just not a reality. Every one of us has a learning curve. But if that learning curve was not nurtured in a big way, then chances are you don't feel safe to allow the process of learning and deepening and improving and enhancing. And yet, that is exactly what is going to allow your life to get better and better and better, all the way back to the challenge of taking your first steps and learning how to walk. So now let's move up to first grade. When you go to first grade, there's a certain curriculum or focus. You need to learn how to be away from home. You need to learn how to be with other kids in a more intense way. You need to learn how to read, how to do math, how to do simple skills. The perfect challenges for first grade. On and on and on through life, we face challenges that are there to serve us. However, how often do we get faced with a challenge only to say, "Nah, I don't really want to risk failure. I don't want to risk looking silly or stupid or slow." We all have so many emotional wounds because we haven't been nurtured fully from the beginning when we were taking our first steps all the way to now. So what I'm here to point out is that our challenges hold huge clues that lead us toward claiming deeper parts of self, getting to know more of self, claiming more of our potential, deepening our capacity. So my encouragement this week for you is that you look to see what is your typical pattern around challenges. Do you typically run? Do you typically avoid them? Do you enjoy the process of facing something that you want to create in your life, willing to work through the challenges that take place in that process? I have news. I said this is going to be about meaning, value, and purpose. If I go to create something in my life and I'm willing to have the experience of working through the challenges, it makes the inevitable goal that I'm going to reach so much more meaningful than if it was just simple and easy and I didn't have any challenges to face or deepen. It gives it a sense of, I value this so much in my life by being willing to invest in it. It's interesting. Over the years, I have given away some of my courses for free for people who truly needed whatever that particular course was. I am baffled. Not one person that I've ever given a course away to for free actually followed through and completed the course. Why is that? It's certainly not because the course didn't hold great inherent value, but if you are given something for free, sometimes you don't know how to value it. You don't take the time to invest yourself. However, if you take your hard-earned money and you invest in something, you are much more likely to follow through and to value what it is you are giving yourself. It is an amazing thing. Same course, free or paid for. When you invest yourself, when it took effort to give that to yourself, it gives it a different value. Your challenges are the same. When something just comes easily and naturally, oftentimes people don't value whatever that is. I'm going to give you an example. I have a friend from the opera world who used to come to parties and do this wacky thing that he could do with his voice. It was just no big deal to him. He could sing really high, like a woman, and he would do it in jest. He didn't necessarily value that he could do it, and yet he discovered down the road that this particular gift that he had, which came very easily and he didn't really have to invest in it, made him a rare voice type on the planet. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're an opera fan or not. What this guy discovered is that he was one of the most gifted countertenors, which, how do I explain, sing in a very vulnerable, youthful, gorgeous way up in a stratosphere like a woman would sing. These are very rare on the planet, and it ended up making this man a ton of money and gave him worldwide opportunity once he began to claim it and invest in it and deepen it and refine it to a level that he could value it. It created a lot of meaningful experiences, and working through the challenge led him to perhaps the deepest purpose that he's discovered in his life on a professional level. All based upon being willing to discover self, to invest in self, to deepen self, and to create something meaningful because you invest in it, because you face the challenge of it. I will be sharing stories from my own life over time. As an example, how my challenge of having a very absent father in my childhood, a man who literally did not instigate one single conversation with me growing up, turned into one of the greatest opportunities of my life. But only once I went in to face and nurture the challenge of not having a nurturing guide as a father. Every single challenge, whether the simplicity of taking your first steps, whether it's something that comes easy to you and therefore it's no big deal, might hold the clues for something you can use to build a career, to share a story, to inspire others, to open up opportunities if you are willing to invest in you and then to share more of you. So next time you go to lunch with a friend, see, are you sharing yourself? Are you aware of self? Do you feel comfortable sharing about what you're excited about, what motivates you, what brings you pleasure, and what challenges you? The greatest way to take fear out of something that challenges you is to be willing to put it on the table with someone you trust. So that's your encouragement for the week. Learn to embrace your challenges as clues that are trying to bring your focus to the very things that you need to develop in your life in order to be more whole as a person, more trusting of yourself, deeper, more fulfilled as a person. Challenges, they serve us all. Have a great week. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Before we close, I wanted to encourage a couple of things. Number one is to go to ronbaker.net. There you will find lots of clues for how you can deepen this conversation. You can also find a way to get the booklet, An Essential Guide to the 9 Nurturing Needs. This is going to be a core focus of how we're going to enhance the quality of your life from the inside out in all the episodes. So I encourage you to go there to get an overview of those 9 nurturing experiences that we all seek more than any other thing in our lives. I also want you to get involved in the conversation here. I really would like to talk about the things that are important to you, the things that you're concerned about or excited about. We live in a wacky world that is changing constantly. We need to learn to connect to ourselves, to count on ourselves, and to count on one another. So please either get involved at ronbaker.net or in the Facebook page, which is Empowered at Last with Ron Baker. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to deepening this conversation about life. And I close as always, choose well, live fully, and by all means, be good to you. Have a great week.